Have you ever been told that dying after 80 is just part of growing old? That weakness, forgetfulness, pain, and loneliness are simply normal parts of senior life? What if I told you that's not just false, it's deadly? A 2022 study from the National Institute on Aging revealed that nearly 9 in 10 seniors who die before 85 don't die from major diseases. They die because of 4 quiet health saboteurs that almost no one, not even your doctor, talks about. And the worst part? You might already be living with one of them, thinking it's just aging. I want to tell you a story. Not from a textbook, not from a hospital, but from a man named Michael Hall, who wrote to us after watching one of our stories about senior wisdom and aging. Michael's wife, Barbara, was set. She did everything right, ate home-cooked meals, took her vitamins, did crossword puzzles every afternoon. She never smoked, didn't drink, walked with Michael to the lake every weekend. And yet she started to fade. At first it was small things, asking where she left her keys, forgetting names, repeating questions. Then one morning she looked at Michael and asked, "What year is it again?" 6 months later, she passed away. The doctors called it early onset dementia. But Michael wasn't satisfied with that answer. He pushed for a full lab review. And what they found shocked him. Chronic inflammation markers in her brain, her arteries, even her digestive system. Inflammation that had likely been building for years in silence. This is the first quiet health saboteur. It's called inflammaging, a low-level chronic inflammation that quietly erodes your brain, heart, joints, and immune system. It doesn't cause sharp pain. It doesn't make you cough or bleed. It simply wears you down from the inside until there's nothing left to fight with. Most people mistake it for normal aging, but according to a 2021 Harvard Health paper, seniors with high inflammatory markers are 2 to 3 times more likely to experience early cognitive decline, heart disease, fatigue, and premature death. Barbara didn't die from old age. She died because no one ever told her inflammation could look like memory loss, stiffness, poor sleep, or low energy. And because no one told Michael either. He told me, if I had known what inflammation could do, we would have changed everything earlier. Maybe we still had time. This is why we created this video, not to scare you, but to protect you. Not to repeat medical advice, but to offer the elderly wisdom after 60 that doesn't get spoken aloud. The kind passed quietly between caregivers, between the lucky few who lived to 90 with clarity. The kind of wise advice that saves years, not just lives. So how do you know if chronic inflammation might be affecting you? It often starts with persistent fatigue even after a good night's sleep, stiffness or joint pain that comes and goes, brain fog or trouble concentrating, recurring digestive issues, subtle sadness or restlessness without explanation. The signs are small. That's why they're dangerous. And here's the part they don't tell you. You don't need a prescription to start pushing back. Barbara never got the chance to reverse course, but thousands of others have. Through small, consistent actions like cutting processed sugar, walking 15 minutes a day, practicing simple breathing, and restoring a proper sleep rhythm. Even foods like turmeric, leafy greens, and omega-3s can help turn the tide on inflammation. I don't want you to wait for your wake-up call. That call might come too late. Michael's story is not rare. What makes it powerful is that he chose to speak up, to share it with you so that someone else might see the signs before it's too late. So I want to ask you something, just between us. Has something in this story reminded you of your own experience? A moment when your mind felt a little slower, when your body didn't respond like it used to and you didn't know why. Take a moment after this video to share what this story made you realize. Not because we need comments, but because your voice might give someone else the courage to look closer at their own life. This is not just a channel. It's a conversation, one built on life lessons from the elderly, on stories like Barbara's and yours. In the next part of this video, we'll talk about the second quiet health saboteur, one that strips away your strength 1 pound of muscle at a time. And I'll show you how one small change in daily routine helped Deborah Scott, age 81, rebuild her confidence and energy even after 2 falls. But before we go there, remember this: aging doesn't mean fading. And senior health isn't just about pills and doctors. It's about clarity, energy, dignity, and knowing the signs no one else taught you to see. So stay with me, because the next few minutes could change the way you age and the way you live. The disappearing strength, how muscle loss quietly ends independence after 60. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you tried getting out of a chair without using your hands, or climbed a few stairs without feeling winded, or carried groceries without needing to rest your arms halfway? If any of that has become harder, you're not alone. And it's not just getting older. It might be the second quiet health saboteur most seniors never see coming: muscle loss. In the medical world, they call it sarcopenia, age-related muscle wasting. But for people like Carol Turner, 73, it didn't start with a diagnosis. It started with a stumble. Carol had always been independent, lived alone in her modest home in Oregon. She gardened, cooked, and kept her kitchen spotless. One morning, reaching for a bowl on the top shelf, she lost her balance. She didn't fall hard, but something changed. The next week, I found myself avoiding that shelf, Carol told me. Then I stopped using the stairs unless I had to. Then the vacuum felt too heavy. Then one day I caught my reflection and didn't recognize the person I saw. This is how it begins. Not with a fracture, but with quiet hesitation. And here's the real danger. Muscle loss doesn't just affect strength. It affects everything: balance, metabolism, immune response, even brain function. According to a 2020 review in the Journal of Clinical Gerontology, seniors who lose 10% of muscle mass have up to 4 times higher risk of falls, hospital stays, and early death, regardless of weight or diet. Think about that. You could be eating healthy, staying lean, even walking daily, and still losing the muscle that keeps you alive. And no one tells you. Muscle mass begins declining in your 30s. But after 60, it accelerates. By the time you're 80, if left unaddressed, you could lose up to 50% of your total muscle mass. It doesn't always show. You might still look fine in the mirror, but inside, your muscles, your engines, are shrinking. And so is your ability to stand tall, stay stable, and stay free. That's what happened to Carol. She didn't fall because she was clumsy. She fell because her legs, hips, and core weren't strong enough anymore. And no one warned her it was coming. The good news? It's reversible, even after 70. When Carol finally opened up to her doctor, she was told to move more. But she needed more than that. So she started watching videos from our senior wellness community and began a simple daily habit called the 5-minute strength ritual. It's not a gym workout. No equipment. No pressure. Just 5 slow movements: chair stands, wall push-ups, leg raises, arm lifts, standing marches. She started with 3 reps each, then 5, then 10. By week 2, she said, I could reach that top shelf again. By week 6, she no longer feared the stairs. By month 3, she said something that gave me chills. I don't feel like I'm getting old anymore. I feel like I'm getting back to myself. Muscle is youth. Not just physical youth, but psychological strength. The ability to move without fear. And this matters more than you think. Because most seniors don't die in hospitals. They die after a fall, after they stop moving, after they lose belief in their own strength. You don't need a fancy gym or a trainer. You need daily engagement with your body. And a reminder that motion is medicine. Let me pause here and ask you this. What's one small thing you used to do with ease, but now hesitate to do? Is it kneeling in the garden, picking up a grandchild, lifting a box from the floor? Take a moment to reflect on what that loss means to you. And if this story of Carol helped you realize something about your own body or reminded you of someone in your life, share this video with them. You never know what day might be the day they finally listen. Because too many seniors let their world shrink inch by inch until one fall becomes the end of the road. And it never had to be that way. In the next part of this video, we'll reveal quiet health saboteur number 3, the one that no one can see, but almost every senior feels: emotional isolation. We'll tell you how Robert Ross, 86, went from feeling invisible to mentoring younger veterans, and how that changed not just his mood, but his memory and longevity. But for now, remember this: your strength is not gone. It's just waiting to be called upon again. Muscle memory is real, and so is recovery at any age. You don't have to fade. You can reclaim your body one small action at a time. Let's keep walking this path together. The invisible weight. How emotional loneliness speeds up aging after 60. There's a quiet moment that many elderly people know too well. The house is silent. The phone doesn't ring. The chair across the table stays empty. And in that silence, something heavier than sadness settles in. Not just being alone, but feeling invisible. This is the third quiet health saboteur most seniors never talk about. But it's one that quietly destroys both the body and the spirit: emotional loneliness. Donna Cook, 82, knows this feeling deeply. She lost her husband to cancer 8 years ago. Her children visit when they can. The neighbors wave. But days, sometimes weeks, go by where no one calls. No one knocks. And no one asks how she's really doing. I started talking to myself just to hear a voice in the room, she told me. And after a while, I stopped expecting anyone to check in. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Donna was healthy. She walked daily, ate her vegetables, stay away from sugar. But something inside was dimming. She couldn't sleep. Her memory slipped. She stopped watering her plants, stopped making her favorite breakfast, stopped caring slowly. This is what loneliness does. Not loudly, not all at once, but gradually, like a fog that settles and refuses to lift. What most people don't realize is that loneliness isn't just emotional. It's deeply physical. A study published in Science found that chronic loneliness increases the risk of death by 26%, more than obesity, more than smoking, more than lack of exercise. It raises stress hormones, weakens your immune system, increases inflammation, even shrinks parts of your brain tied to memory, focus, and emotional regulation. And yet no one checks for it. There's no blood test for feeling forgotten. We screen for cholesterol. We monitor blood pressure. But we never ask, who do you talk to every day? Who checks in on your heart? Donna isn't alone. AARP reports that over 1/3 of seniors in the US experience serious loneliness, especially after age 75. And it often begins subtly. You stop going to church. You skip your walking group once. Then again, you say, "I'm fine," when really you're not. The hard truth is, humans were never meant to age alone. And when we do, our health begins to crumble from the inside out. What's worse, we're told to stay strong, to tough it out. But ignoring loneliness doesn't make it go away. It just buries it deeper until it starts affecting your body, your sleep, your desire to even get out of bed. But Donna's story didn't end there. And neither does yours. One afternoon, her granddaughter gave her a small, unexpected gift. A simple tablet already loaded with 2 apps, one for family video calls and one for a local senior storytelling circle. It wasn't complicated. Just a small online group where seniors shared life lessons, funny memories, and advice for the younger generation. At first, Donna hesitated. "I'm not good with technology," she said. But one evening, she gave it a try. She listened. Then she smiled. Then she spoke. She shared stories about her first job at a flower shop, how she met her husband at a bus stop, what she learned about forgiveness after 50 years of marriage. The screen didn't matter. What mattered was being heard. Something began to shift. The mornings felt brighter. Her appetite came back. She started sleeping through the night. Her memory improved. Not because of medication, but because of the connection. This isn't just heartwarming. It's scientific. The Harvard study of adult development, the longest-running happiness study in the world, found that the single strongest predictor of longevity and happiness is the quality of close relationships. Not money, not cholesterol, not even your DNA, but whether someone feels seen, heard, and valued, especially in the second half of life. Connection is medicine. And for seniors, it may be the most powerful and most overlooked health tip there is. Let me ask you something. When was the last time someone really listened to your story, not just your symptoms, but your memories, your lessons, your voice? Have you noticed yourself withdrawing lately? Saying no to small invitations you might have said yes to before? Feeling like your presence doesn't matter the way it once did? If so, just know that's not a weakness. That's a signal. And you deserve more than silence. Take one small action today. Call someone. Write a note. Join a local group. Or even share something under this video. Because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone tonight. Donna now co-hosts a monthly Elderly Wisdom After 60 Circle online. She helps other seniors open up, laugh, cry, and remember who they still are. She says, "I stopped waiting for someone to knock. I started knocking first." And at 82, she says she feels more alive than she did at 70. That's not a miracle. That's the power of connection. That's elderly wisdom after 60 in motion. In the final part of this video, we'll explore the 4th quiet health saboteur, the one that sneaks in while you sleep and quietly robs your heart, your brain, and your ears. Poor sleep and nighttime disruption. You'll meet James Peterson, who used to wake up 5 times a night until one gentle shift in his evening routine changed everything, including his blood pressure, memory, and mood. But before we get there, just take a breath. Right here, right now. You're not invisible. You're not forgotten. And the world is better when your story is shared. The restless nights, how poor sleep quietly steals your years after 60. It often starts as something small. You wake up once to go to the bathroom. Then again at 3 a.m., not sure why. You toss. You turn. The clock ticks slowly. Morning comes, but you don't feel rested. It's just part of getting older, they tell you. But what if it isn't? What if poor sleep, the kind that keeps creeping in after 60, is the fourth quiet health saboteur? And what if it's robbing your heart, brain, and lifespan without making a sound? James Peterson, 79, knows this better than most. For years, he woke up 4 to 5 times a night. At first, he blamed it on aging, then on back pain, then on needing to use the bathroom more. He tried herbal teas. Avoid coffee. I even turned off the TV early. Nothing worked. I thought I was just one of those seniors who didn't sleep much anymore, he told me. But I didn't realize what it was doing to the rest of my health. James began forgetting conversations. He got irritated more easily. His blood pressure rose. He gained 12 pounds without changing his diet. He didn't connect these things to sleep until a friend sent him a research article from the Journal of Sleep Medicine. It said that seniors who sleep less than 6 hours per night have a 33% higher risk of heart disease, stroke, memory loss, and even earlier death. James wasn't just tired. He was quietly breaking down. Here's the truth. Sleep is not passive. It's the body's most powerful form of regeneration. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins. Your cells repair. Your immune system rebuilds. Your heart rate stabilizes. Your memory consolidates. But when that cycle is interrupted over and over again, everything suffers. For seniors, this can look like constant fatigue, even after long hours in bed, trouble focusing or recalling recent memories, higher blood pressure and cholesterol, mood swings or increased anxiety, weaker immune response. And here's what's even more shocking. Sleep quality matters more than sleep quantity. You can lie in bed for 9 hours and still age faster if your sleep is fragmented, waking up repeatedly, even briefly. James decided to take control, but not with pills, with something he called his evening reset ritual. It had 4 simple steps. Stop fluids by 6:30 p.m. to reduce nighttime bathroom trips. No screens after 8 o'clock p.m. Instead, he listened to soft music or read something light. Stretch gently for 5 minutes, arms, back, legs, just to calm the nervous system. Breathing meditation for 3 to 5 minutes, where he focused on exhaling longer than inhaling. Within the first week, James was waking only once. By week 3, he was sleeping 7 solid hours. After 2 months, his memory improved, his blood pressure dropped, and his mood became noticeably lighter. And more importantly, he no longer dreaded the night. He looked forward to it. Poor sleep is not a minor inconvenience. It's one of the most overlooked senior health threats. And it doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how long you live. One of the most comprehensive studies on aging, conducted by the University of California, found that consistent sleep disruption shortens lifespan by up to 5 years, even in seniors with no other chronic conditions. And yet, sleep is rarely talked about in depth in medical visits. It's brushed off. Try melatonin. Maybe it's just stress. Comes with age. But we know better now. And so do you. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly rested? Not just, I made it through the night, but refreshed, with energy to enjoy your day. If it's been too long, maybe tonight is the night you make a change. Try James's evening reset, or take a warm bath. Listen to ocean sounds. Stop caffeine before noon. Talk to someone about what's on your mind. Because often we don't sleep badly just because we're older. We sleep badly because we're carrying too much in our minds, our bodies, and our hearts. If James's story reminded you of your own nights, I want to hear from you. What's been your biggest struggle with sleep after 60? And what have you tried that helped, even just a little? Share your answer below. Not just to leave a comment, but to leave a breadcrumb of wisdom for someone else walking through the same dark night. This channel isn't just about advice. It's about building a trail of wise elders sharing what really works together. Because no one should face the hardest years of aging alone or in silence. So let's bring it all together. You've now learned about inflammation, the invisible fire eating away your organs, muscle loss, the quiet thief stealing your freedom, loneliness, the invisible weight dimming your spirit, poor sleep, the nightly disruption that weakens everything. These are the 4 quiet health saboteurs that cut lives short after 60 but don't have to. And the beauty of it is you can start turning all 4 around tonight. Not with pills, not with big promises, but with small steps. A walk, a stretch, a phone call, a glass of water, a story shared, a breath taken, a light turned off. Aging is not the enemy. Disconnection is. Inaction is. Silence is. So, as we close this video, I want you to do one thing. Take one piece of elderly wisdom, after 60 from today, just one, and apply it. Right now. Before the day ends. And then tell someone else what you learned. Because that's how we stay alive. Not just in body, but in spirit. If this video gave you something valuable, please share it with a friend who might need it. And if you have a story like James, Donna, or Carol, we'd be honored if you shared it in the comments below. Because this channel isn't about going viral. It's about living deeply after 60 and helping others do the same. You're not alone. You're not done. And the best parts of your story may still be unwritten. Let's keep walking together.